All right, I thought I'd make a quick video of the correction. I've been marking about half. I've marked half of your quizzes already. Probably get it done by Monday. But I'm observing a few things, so I would like to do this right away. So we're gonna go over this. So writing from exponential or power form to radical form. This has a negative exponent, right? And it's a decimal. So you would like to get rid of the negative by flipping it, right? And then it's 1.5 like that. So it's really 3 over 2. And so it's root of 8 over 3. Make sure you have it in bracket like that. And a power of 3 because 1.5 is really, right? 1.5 is 3 over 2. So it's root of this and all of that to the power of 3. Over here, we're going that way. This one was done fairly well, but, right, you need to make sure you put this in brackets, right, or else it will only apply to the numerator. Going from here to here is a little tricky. Notice that no matter what you do here, this is going to be squared. It's going to be squared, and you get a negative answer out of this. So whatever happens, you want the negative. So it's almost like you're bringing the negative 1 out. And then you take the 12 and you put that to the power of 2/3. So not in brackets, okay? Because if you do put it in brackets and you square it, then you get a positive answer there. So that is something you need to watch out for, okay? Mixed to radical, that one was done fairly well. Just break this down, right? 4 times 10, that's 2 times 2. This is 2 times 5. So you want a group of 3 there. So square root of cube root of 40 is really cube root of 2 cubed times 5. This one comes out and you're left with cube root of 5 like that. That's a mixed radical there. Here, this 2 is trying to come inside the root. So you apply the index, right? That's the exponent that 2 gets times 3. And that is really 32 times 3. Sorry, not 32, it's 16 times 3, which is root of 48. And all along, make sure it's the fourth root of that, right? So that's fourth root of 48. Next, we have evaluating this expression. You have that negative in front. Also, make sure you always bring your negative with you, right? When you have, a fractional exponent and negative, so you have both, the first thing would probably be to flip this at this point, because there's nothing else you can do. And that turns that exponent positive. And when there are numbers, right, we always like to take the root first, so you can take the cube root of 27 and the cube root of 125 and square that whole thing, and the negative always stays outside, right? So we get 3 over 5 squared, and the negative follows, and that's negative 9 over 25. I need to see the steps, especially if you're working from home. I know that there's calculators out there. I can see it, right? So don't try that. Another here would be this one, where a lot of you, where went south for you is you try to get rid of this negative and you flip this fraction, okay? What you need to realize is that these have the same base. You want to keep them that way because it's almost like this is an X or an A or whatever, right? This base is the same base as that. So since they're multiplying, we can add the exponents. So you have negative 5/3, so whatever is in the brackets, you have negative 2/3 plus 4/3. All of that to the negative 3. Don't do anything with this yet. Focus on the inside. You get negative 5 over 3 this gives you 2/3. All of that is to the power of -3. And even now, I would not flip or anything. I would multiply these two now because it's a power of a power rule, right? So you take, and really, if you multiply 2/3 times -3, it's really -3/1. You can cancel these out, and you're really just left with a -2. So that's -5/3 to the -2. It's negative because of that. Now we flip it. I keep the negative up, and squaring both of them gives you 9/25 positive. Okay, so that's how this is done. It should work out fairly smoothly at the end, so keep that in mind. Okay. Backside, these were all where we combine or apply all of our exponent rules, and no bracket, no exterior power, right? So you can go ahead and say that 5 goes in here once, goes in there 6 times. Make sure you have the equal sign. And I need to see the work, okay? So this negative comes with us. It's just 1. So this is where you have to pay close attention, right? It's top minus bottom, right? The exponent. So 8 minus 3. And then you can actually see that this will cancel out. If you have the same in the numerator and denominator, the same exponent, same base, you can actually cancel it out. But if you didn't see that, it's b minus 9, right? Subtract whatever's in the bottom, and the bottom has a -9 as well. And if you think about it, this is -9 plus 9, which is 0. Anything to the exponent of 0 is just 1. Okay? And then I have c -6 minus, what do you have in the denominator? It's a -2. Okay? So that is that. You brought everything, you combined all like terms basically, and you have the 6 down here. The next step is -a to the 5. This just turns into a b to the 0. And this is c. This turns into a +2, right? So it's -4 plus 2, which is -4, like that, over 6. Get rid of the negative exponent. You have -a to the 5 over 6c to the +4, like that. That's the cleaned up version there. B should be gone at that point. Next, a lot of you missed the fact that this exponent is applied to this whole thing. So my next line will be 4m squared and 4p3, like that. I will apply this to everything. So it's -5 squared, which is +25. You multiply exponents. So 1 times 2 is 2. -2 times 2 is -4. -4 times 2 is -8, like that. Now you can go 4 times 25 is 100. M squared plus 2, right? N to the 4 plus -4, right? And then P3 plus -8, like that. That gives you 100 m to the 4. This will just be 0, right? N to the 0, P to the -5. We clean up, it's 100 m to the 4. P comes downstairs, and it's P to the 5. Sorry, that should be clear that it's an exponent. Like that. All right, and then now the heavy hitters. These ones were tricky, so I will walk you through these ones. I will tell you this: if you have a fractional exponent and variables with exponents, okay, you will end up, once it's all cleaned up inside, right? You try to see if there are similar bases. So you first clean everything up inside. So you're gonna have to add or subtract, right, the exponents, then you will multiply the outside exponent by all the exponents inside. Except for the numbers, right? When it comes to the numbers, you will take the root, right? This case it's a cube root, or it could be a square root. And if you have to apply a power yet to it, then you do that with a number. You work that out. And so keep that in mind. So here we go. I will go ahead and apply the cube root of negative 64 like this, just to 64, but then here I'm going to multiply. I'm going to go C6 times 1/3. Okay, I go to the denominator, A9 times 1/3. Right, B negative half times 1/3, like that. So that exponent with the variables, you just multiply their exponents like that. Okay, so this gives you negative 4. This, if you think about it, right, this gives you 6 over 3, right, because 6 times 1 is 6 and it's 3, so really 3 goes in here 2 times, goes in here 1 times, is 2 over 1. So it ends up being c squared, and the denominator you have a, 9 divided by 3 is just 3. B, here this will give you a negative 1 over 6, like that, and you multiply across. And so that last step is to bring that up. So it'd be negative 4 b 1/6 c squared over a cubed, like that. Okay, so we brought that up. That's all you needed to do here. So don't apply roots or something to your variables. You need to multiply the exponents, okay? Last one, I try to multiply across. I always do that. And here, same thing, nothing. There are no more brackets or anything. I try to clean my coefficients, right? I notice that 8 goes in here 9 times, 8 goes in here 4 times, and then I can go ahead and clean it up. So 9x3 minus 6, y5 minus 3, all over 4, right? And don't forget about that, but we're gonna do that once it's cleaned up inside, okay? And I need to see the steps, right? Like I can't do this in my head. I see some of you going from 1 to, you're skipping 2 steps, right? And along the way, you're making a lot of mistakes, right? So that's why I leave a lot of room. There's a reason for that, okay? So we get 9x to the negative 3, y squared. So signs are very important, right? Over 4, all of that to the negative 3 over 2. At this point, some of you are tempted to apply that outside power right away. Clean this up first, right? And then almost you write it with, but you still just focus on the inside. I bring this down. So it's 9y squared over 4x cubed, like that. All of this to the negative 3 over 2. And so what happens here is, now that everything is cleaned up, you apply this exponent. And the net, to get rid of the negative, all you do is you flip this, right? You go, and nothing else changes, folks. Like don't add a negative to your base or anything like that. And don't flip the exponent itself. That's not even accurate, right? And so that's what you get. You change the sign of the exponent by flipping, right? Flip, right? That's all we've done. You flip that right there. Now you're going to apply this to the numbers. So we're going to actually figure out what the value is, but the exponents we're going to multiply. We know that this, we can take the square root of 4 and cube it like that. I know it's a little messy, and it's x to the 3 times 3 over 2 over square root of 9, and you cube it, right? Because 3 halves applies to that 9. And y is 2 times 3 over 2. And so you get, this gives you square root of 4 is 2, 2 cubed is 8. X, 3 times 3 is 9 over 2. Square root of 9 is 3, 3 cubed is 27. Actually, if you have 2 up and 2 down, you can cancel it out, so you're just left with y cubed. This is it, okay? So a couple of things I wanted to remind you, right? And I wrote it a little sticky. If you have the same base, add exponent, don't flip, right? So some of you saw the negative, you wanted to flip it. No, you focus on the two bases being the same, add exponents, right? If you have a negative exponent in the denominator, watch for double negatives, right? Like, so if you have, you know, a 5 on top minus, there's a negative in the denominator. This is actually, these two negatives turn into a positive, right? And so keep that in mind. All right. Take care. Have a good one.